I'd like to call the Marion County Board of Education meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. To get us started, I'd like to call on our two ambassadors to lead us in the pledge, and I'm listening to Lydia Howard, and we got Caitlin Gribbons with us. So, show yours.
Attention, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and may have a seat. Thank you so much. I'd like to give our student ambassadors a moment to express themselves and kind of talk about what they're doing and how they look forward to this coming school year.
Hi, I'm Lydia Howlett. I'm a senior at Marion County High School. This year, I'm taking a dual credit class online through EKU in our new Next Gen lab, and it's great, and I love it. I'm taking world religions for free, actually, because of my GPA and my ACT score through EKU. They give you a free class. So I'm taking it for free, and it's giving me a Gen Ed requirement for WKU, which is the college I'm going to go to. So it's awesome that I have the opportunity to do that, and I just would encourage any students, I guess there aren't any students here, but yeah, I would encourage any students to take advantage of the opportunities you have to take a college class.
Okay, I like Lydia. I'm also doing that, and I absolutely love the lab. It's great. Love the lab. Love the lab. Okay, something I want to talk about is the ambassador program, actually. So this year, of course, the seniors, well, we were juniors last year. We roll over, and we're still ambassadors this year. I think there's 8 of us. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so there's 8 of us that are seniors this year. But our next incoming class of ambassadors are actually filling out their applications right now, and they're due tomorrow by 3 p.m. And then we're going to send out letters to pick who gets an interview, because we eliminate some from the applications alone, and then some people get an interview and then they eliminate more, and then they pick the new class of student ambassadors. So they're going to be notified on Monday, actually, whenever they if they get an interview or not. And then by September 10th, we will have all of our student ambassadors picked, and we're actually going to have a retreat day. We're going to train all the new ones and just get to know each other. Yeah, at Farmers National Bank meeting place. Yes. Yeah. And so we're basically just going to train everybody, get to know everybody, and then that night there's actually a board meeting, and we're all going to come and introduce the new class of student ambassadors. So thanks for all your support with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Has anybody got any questions or comments to these young ladies? If not, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to welcome everybody to our meeting here, and it's good to see everybody here, to see so many people, especially that makes up the superintendent's leadership team. And I'm pleased to see so many people who will be here. Next item up is item 3. We're amending the agenda to include add the items since we put the agenda out.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that the agenda for the evening is amended for attachment number 1.
I need a second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Evans, second by Mr. Pinkston. Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. And those opposed, like saying ayes have it. Next item up is communication, the superintendent's report.
We skipped number 4.
What did I skip one? Number 4, I am so sorry. We have a celebrity among us here this evening, and how could I forget, because I spoke with you before the meeting, got to know you a little bit better. Anyway, a recognition of Marion County High School senior Adria Whitfield. Please come forward.
I want to present to Adrian two different certificates. One, I would like to introduce her as a recipient for the Governor's School for the Arts. So I'd like to give her a certificate for this. I also have a second certificate for her to present her with the 2016 Distinguished Young Woman of Marion County. And I Whitfield has a little plan. She wants to communicate with the board and the audience and just talk a little bit about both programs and what they've done for her. And Adrian is also a senior at Marion County High School. We're very proud. As you all know, and you hear me say, we've got about 165 days to give her everything she needs to get ready for that second step in her life. So, Adrian.
Thank you. I guess you could say I've had a pretty eventful summer going from the Distinguished Young Woman program to GSA, but they were both really just wonderful programs, and I'm glad I got to be involved in both. At first, I wasn't sure if I was going to do the Distinguished Young Woman program because of my busy schedule, but I'm really glad that I did, because I think DYW really reiterates the importance of being very well-rounded, and it was a great opportunity to get to know all of the girls, and it's a very important event for the community that it was an honor to be a part of. I didn't expect to be named the new Distinguished Young Woman of Marion County, but I'm really looking forward to representing Marion County as state. Governor's School for the Arts was just a dream come true, and it was all that it's cracked up to be. Not only did I get to experience my art form of musical theater, but they also gave us the opportunity to learn about other art forms and to better appreciate them. Both programs gave me wonderful scholarship opportunities, and that really helps me get excited for my future. So,
Have you decided where you may want to go to school?
I haven't looked at too many schools. I'm planning on visiting more, but I'm thinking about Northern Kentucky, Western, U of L, and Belmont University in Tennessee. I think they're all really great schools.
I have no doubt you'll be successful.
Thank you.
Hope you have a great senior year.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I know you will represent Marion County very, very well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, next item up is the superintendent's report.
All right, here we go. The first item on my superintendent's report is to discuss leadership, just to remind folks that we are participating. Our leadership team is actually participating in 2 book studies currently. Leadership isn't for cowards, and learning by doing. Also, I just thought it was important to mention the student ambassadors. I know they've already talked about this, but I think that is a part of our next generation Marion County. They are a part of the leadership team in Marion County, and as you can see, we're getting ready to go through that interview process. At the next board meeting, as you heard them say, we're actually going to have an opportunity to meet and greet with those students. Under teaching and learning, something that we are very proud of is our guaranteed Bible curriculum. We've worked diligently over the past 2 years and this summer to ensure that we have a guaranteed Bible curriculum, which an easier way to say that is the first grade is the first grade regardless of what school you may go to. Each teacher has the autonomy to implement what that looks like, but we want all the kids to exit every grade level with the same content knowledge. And that's very important. That's something that we pride ourselves on, and it actually helps with mobility as students need to move from one school to the other. High expectations. As you all know, our 6 big dream, learning begins at birth, universal preschool, market, connect, and communicate, next generation Marion County, our one-to-one technology initiative, and graduating all students college and career ready, which is being prepared for that 21st century. You know, we are constantly talking every day in our leadership team when we look at those 6 big dreams about what are we going to do to expand on what we have already accomplished. And we have those things, and as the year progresses and as things come up, we definitely will keep you informed on that. And we're very excited to say, just with universal preschool, as you all know, we have 2 additional rooms, so we have 7 classrooms, and we're full. And we'll be bringing those numbers to you, and we want to look at the number of 4-year-olds that are in preschool in Marion County, not just in public schools. And we want to compare that to the number of children that are actually in kindergarten, talk about what our graduating class will look like, and how many students are having that opportunity. And we're going to work diligently even to make sure that if a child is with a caregiver, on what parents and caregivers need to know so that students come to school kindergarten ready. Communication, in day 167, we've already completed 7 days of instruction. We had a fantastic start to our school year. We're excited about continuing to reach out to parents and form partnerships. We understand that if we want to ensure that every child graduates ready for that 21st century, that we've got to form those partnerships and do things differently than we've done before. So fantastic start to the school year, and I'd just like to commend all of our teachers, our cafeteria ladies, our bus drivers, our instructional assistants, our leadership team, our principals, our teachers. There's been a lot of preparation done to make sure that we have a very smooth start to the school year. It's always a good thing to have that smooth start because that is a very good indicator that we're going to have a great school year.
Okay, any questions, comments about the superintendent's report?
I've got a quick question. The 2 more rooms, where are they at?
We have 1 additional room at Lebanon Elementary and another one at Glasscock. We have 2 at West Marion, 3 at Glasscock, and 2 at Lebanon Elementary.
Okay, let's go to the next item, empty stores, Ms. Tammy Newcomb.
Actually, Mr. Benningfield is going to come up here as well. We're going to talk about 2 things. The first is the data. And so you will see the top table shows you the trend from the last 5 years in terms of ACT scores. And if you recall, this is a test that students take in high school that helps them to apply for different scholarships, entrance into college, and it's also a part of the high school's college and career readiness accountability. So you will see, if same pattern that I traditionally do, keep it the same. If we're above the state average, the cell is colored green. If we're below the state average, then we're colored red. So of course you would want to look at the last row of 2014 and 15, and you can see what the high school's 11th graders did last year about March. It takes a while for us to get the report. The kids get their report much quicker than we get the district report. And when we get our 12th grade scores report, we'll bring that to you as well. The second table shows you the percent of students meeting benchmark. And the benchmark is an indication of if a student can meet a benchmark, then they should be more prepared for college level courses, is what ACT says. It also gives the high school, if a student meets their English, math, and reading benchmarks, then that means that they're called college ready, as part of that college and career readiness score. Okay. Any questions on the data?
I have one, Ms. Newcomb. I'm quite pleased with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas that are except with reading. And I'm a little concerned and confused in that I see reading being emphasized throughout our entire district. When I see these scores, it tells me that's an area that we need to increase our focus, do something differently. Because if I'm reading correctly, we're below the state average.
That you are correct, sir. You are correct. And the next slide that we have is going to explain some of the things that the high school plans to do differently this year. And then Mr. Abel is with us, that after Mr. Benningfield goes through the slides, if you have particular questions, then Mr. Abel will be able to answer those.
And Mr. Evans, I'll say probably the biggest thing I see with our students is they read, but it's that timed reading portion where they only have X amount of time to read that passage and answer those questions. That's the biggest thing that gets our kids a lot of times. So getting in that mindset that they've got to read it so quickly, needing scanning the questions first and know what you're looking for when you read that passage. Those are some of the strategies we're really going to look at and focus on as well. I think we've got pretty good readers, but when you throw that time component in there, it's really a different game for a lot of those students.
So is it time or is it comprehension of what they're reading?
Well, I think some of them can comprehend, but some of them need to go back and maybe reread it. And on that ACT, you've only got that 45 or that 40-minute window that you have to answer those questions. So it's just a matter of them understanding you have to get through all that in that amount of time. A number of our students, they do need to go back and reread and do that in classes at times to fully comprehend or understand. They don't always have that opportunity when it comes to the ACT.
Mr. Abel, I know you lost a teacher this year because of the population of the students, and it's my understanding you lost an English teacher.
Yes, sir.
With reading being an area that looks like it needs some help, can you explain to us why you decided to give up a language arts or an English teacher as opposed to some other area maybe where we're doing a little better?
Well, look at site-based. I mean, some areas, if we cut, we're basically eliminating an entire career pathway, depending on what direction we went with that. If you look at our math scores, they have traditionally been lower in our end-of-course area, which is another accountability index that we have. That our ACT with our math, we kind of held our own close to the state average. I think if you go back to that last year, we were probably below the state average in math. So it's a give or take. We're trying to do everything we can in that junior class to limit those numbers so that they can focus on that reading. And I feel like reading is not just a language arts or an English area. It's something that needs to be done in our social studies and across the curriculum. So we can address those needs by carrying some of that emphasis over in those other content areas and more school-wide more easily than we would be able to do that with possibly a math or something that may require greater curriculum or content knowledge by some of those teachers.
It's been a long time since I took the ACT, but as I recall, some of the reading passages do deal with science and some of them deal with social studies. It's not necessarily just a literature reading. Exactly.
But even a lot of the science is just about charts and graphs for the most part. The answers are there if you know how to attack those questions and interpret some of those. And that's exactly right. And I think some of the, not the biggest issue with concerns is some of the articles probably are not as engaging on that ACT as if a student can choose some of the literature that they want to read or bring their articles. They do enjoy that much more, but some of those passages are not as engaging to the students, and I think that's something we've really got to focus on too, is those strategies, not as probably as much as what they're actually reading as well, knowing what they're looking for when they're reading those passages.
I've got one question, and maybe you said it, I just didn't grasp it, but what's the fix to this then?
Well, we're going to hit that right now.
Okay.
We've got some things here.
Right.
If
I know we have a
they go
problem.
here, we'll go farther, I'll go more.
If we have, as long as we can fix it, as long as we have a plan to fix it, I'm good. That's all.
And so glad to hear, Mr. Abel, in the comments that you made, you're going to get an electronic pat on the back later, because we are all teachers of reading, okay? Here are the things that Marion County already does that are fantastic. They have those wonderful Saturday workshops that our veteran teachers have conducted for years that are popular with our student body. Mr. Abel has a practice ACT assessment on September 24th. As he was saying, there's a great opportunity for an authentic testing situation for practice. And then the academic time, as last year between January and March, will focus on the ACT through the rotation those kids go through during the school day. Some of the things that the high school has planned for this year include some embedded professional learning. You know, this district a few years ago participated with the Kaplan training, which is a wonderful training. I've been through it before in another district. It is research-based and very proven to work. But we have a lot of new teachers in this district who did not get to experience that. So we're going to utilize our veteran teachers to walk them through that process just to make sure everybody's on the same page. We can do that in part through our PD academies. I think we may have mentioned that once already. That's PD you don't have to go to. That's PD you want to go to. So we have that planned once a month starting in September, so teachers can take advantage of that extra training then. We also have some new electronic delivery systems in place through Admentum. It's called the Plato program. Students can access that software, practice the ACT anywhere that program is available where there's a computer in the school. And then we also have a new Monday ACT bell ringer focus, where Monday bell ringers at Marion County High School will focus on the ACT.
And that's where we're going to incorporate some of those timed reading strategies, even if it's only for 5 minutes. You get this amount of time so they can know how to pace themselves depending on how many questions that they have. The biggest thing I like about that ad minimum is, we're talking about kids getting to that state average. We've got kids in that school who are at a 25, 26. They want to get to a 27, 28 where they're eligible for scholarship money that can help pay for their school as well. That program can help take those scores, not only to the state average, but get college ready, but it works at them at the level where they're at to help make them eligible to get some of that college paid for if that's what they're looking to be able to do and they want to put the time and effort into it.
It's a nice program that we're fortunate to have, and like Mr. Abel said, when students sit down and start going through that practice module, based on the first questions they answer, it will begin to challenge them based on the level they are. So it's designed to improve the rigor and the practice for those kids. So I think that's a good thing too. And I appreciate that the high school's thinking this through and that they have some new tools in their toolbox as they work toward improving their ACT scores.
And what we did with the practice ACTs is that was sent out and scored, and it gave them an actual score what they would have on the ACT, and it also identified critical skills, their weakest areas, so we can group those students based on some of those commonalities and review some of those major concepts that they demonstrated weakness on that practice ACT. That's something else we want to be able to do this year as well.
The practice ACT assessment, is that just a one-time shot?
Well, the practice is, but there's some that they can go online and retake. We do it in the building, in the gym, same format, same everything is what they will see on the first Tuesday in March when they take that ACT. So they're used to that.
However, the 11th grade, that's kind of their free ACT. The state pays for that
Yeah,
for
okay.
all students at the 11th grade.
I got you.
So we kind of want to make sure that they're ready and prepared in that 11th grade, that they can continue to take it through their 12th grade year in preparation. So they can take it as many times as they want to pay to take it.
And Caleb commented, when he took the ACT, when I took the ACT, not everybody in the class took the ACT. We may have had a good school average, but it was only those who knew and felt like they were going on to college that took the time to take that many times. With the whole class taking it, it's a little different. We want to make sure they're exposed to it and have the strategies to do well on it, and they're not overwhelmed the first time they see it at the first part of March.
I've got a follow-up question on that along those lines. Can they do online studies before they take the practice, or is it after they take the practice, they go online?
We probably don't push it as much until after. They do, and our English 3 teachers, especially our junior English, they're already starting on some of those strategies. Most of them probably have not worked with that program until they take that practice ACT. And there's a limited number, I guess, of practice ACT that are out there. So I guess I don't want to expose them to some of that too soon so that they have an advantage when they take that practice. I want it to be a true indicator of where they're at, because some of our English teachers do use some of those same practice copies that are available, maybe that we have used for some of these practice ACTs as well. They have just different years that are released, and that's kind of what we break it down and we use on that practice.
Based on the last 2 previous years, how many of the graduating class have taken this practice exam?
The 2 years I've been there, and I think even the year before that, every junior took that practice ACT. And what we used to do was in September, we just basically have a testing week. The freshmen would take a plan that was kind of a practice, and we could get data from them. Sophomores took that plan test, which was part of our accountability system to show growth from the plan of sophomore year to the ACT their junior year. This year, the state's not giving that plan test. Juniors take the ACT, and our seniors take the ASVAB, because that ASVAB has an academic component that can be used for our career readiness piece when we talk about students being career ready. So all throughout that week, we would just have the gym set up and rotate different classes through who would take one of those tests in that week. And why we did it in September is because that was the state designated time frame for sophomores to take the plan test. But this year the state has decided not to give the plan. So we're just going to go ahead and do the practice ACT and the ASVAB for our seniors to see where those group of students are at.
Yeah, I've got one. So after you do this practice, can you determine what students need help? And then do we have the means to help the students?
We
May
can.
not have done as well?
Yes, and that's kind of what we try to do. The program I used last year was called Triumph college admissions, and it basically broke those skills down. They were probably more general and not as detailed about what some of those factors were, but it does give us a target area where we need to focus. And what, like in mathematics, it'll give you what concepts in math they perform the most poorly on the ACT, and gives teachers an opportunity. What we try to do is group them based on those weaknesses when we did our academic time, so we can have teachers teaching common standards or common skills that this group showed weakness in to hopefully better prepare them for the ACT.
So do you think that will help fix the reading problem that Mr. Evans brought up?
I think it will help, but I think that amount of time, we need to make it more of a school-wide and carry more content and more, can't start when we come back in January. Because to me, that January through March period, that is a reminder of the things that they learned maybe in Algebra 1, the things that they've learned in algebra they haven't been exposed to possibly for a year or two when they have taken those classes. It goes back and reviews a lot of the things that they already know and makes it fresh in their mind. The reading, what he's talking about, we need to make that more of a year-long and across the curriculum focus that we're going to do this year versus an end-of-the-year brush-up or more of an intense focus on some of those critical skills that some students are struggling with.
Well, the observation I'm making is that, you know, if somebody's not a good reader, I don't mean necessarily a poor reader, but not a good reader, doesn't meet these standards here we set ourselves, but that didn't just happen to be a poor reader. So I guess my question is, at what point did he miss out not becoming a good reader? I know you've been handed an issue, or a challenge, I don't want to say a problem, a challenge. So where are they missing out at?
Well, I think that's why you have this, that's why we've identified a couple of years ago, you know, what are we saying that's important with, and I think Mr. Evans always talks about that when kids come to school behind the 8 ball or behind the game. I mean, that's why we've got to intentionally target learning begins at birth, students coming to school ready for kindergarten, exiting the 3rd grade on math and reading level. You're exactly right. I mean, we can't just start focusing on reading and literacy when they walk in. I think that we have to focus that for a child's career and everything we can do to, you know, reach out to parents and form partnerships on the importance of reading to your child 20 minutes a day or having them read to your child 20 minutes a day. And that's why I'm so pleased that that's one of our big dreams, and that's something that we talk about and promote, because this is not, you know, we're gonna identify, like what Mr. Abel said and all these folks have said. I mean, we're gonna really target that, but this cannot be just a quick fix. If we want our students to be ready for the 21st century, technical reading is going to be very important for them to be successful after they graduate from Marion County High School.
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm pleased about where we're starting from birth with reading, and I know it's a long-term investment we're making, and it'll be years before we see the full effect of the program initiated last year. So
I think even looking at our math data and being able to do that, or freshmen and sophomores, it allows us not just to wait to that junior year and see who we need to work with and start those interventions with those students, but we can start that much earlier in that process. It gives us, it's a yearly one, it's not going to be a quick fix, but we can start working with them early on in their high school career to help hopefully allow them by the time they take that ACT their junior year. And this is probably the biggest test that has the greatest impact on what opportunities they have following, you know, graduation.
How much communication do you have with St. Charles and Lebanon Middle School about your incoming freshman class? I mean, how much of that information transfers back and forth? Because Ms. Mann's got them for 3 years. She knows by the end of the 3rd year probably has a pretty good idea of where they are in their development. Is that information, that data that she's developed at St. Charles, is that in a usable medium that you can access, and so you're not trying to relearn everything from the beginning? Do you already have an idea of where these kids are when they walk in the door?
We do have the math scores. We do look at their Explore scores, but I know after this year, Explore is kind of going away as well. But we are able to look at some of that data and see where those students are. At the high school, we probably need to do a better job of using that data to determine which students need to be in our 3 AP and our regular, some of those English classes to make sure they have, you know, the skills needed to be successful at that level. But we do have access and we do look at that.
When you're scheduling freshmen, is that someone at the high school who does that, or is that with input from the middle school staff as well?
Yeah, it's traditionally been by teacher recommendation as far as what courses they feel like, because they do know those kids better than we do, but we probably need to have some academic indicator to make sure that they can, they do have not only denying students the opportunities, but to try to ensure that they're at the level that's going to be expected to be successful and perform in some of those pre-AP classes.
It should probably be noted too that one of our new opportunities this year is the data team process. Each of these schools has a data team that met for a week this summer, and in part spent time working together school to school on this very issue. They will meet again on our first staff development day and have an opportunity to revisit what's happened so far between their last meeting and that moment in time. So there is a process in place, and that's a very good comment. There's a process in place for them to communicate with each other, which will be very beneficial.
And one other thing with data kind of works the reverse too, because we've got some kids who probably need to be in pre-AP classes, and they're choosing that kind of easier route at times. That my feelings are we put them where their ability shows that they should be, and then if there's a reason or you want to kind of talk about why you should be there, we're going to be more than listen, and they kind of got to argue why they should be taken out if they're showing that that's the ability level of where they can perform that. But those are the conversations we have to have with parents and students.
Somebody else?
I promise not to ask any more questions.
Good conversation.
Good conversation, I agree.
I want
Thank
to
you all.
compliment though the discussion we're having, because it's focused on student achievement, and that's where most of our focus ought to be in the beginning anyway. So I appreciate the discussion we're having.